Hey now, it's Sharon, and I'm back to share another idea on how to reform the police. If you're new to the channel, I'm a retired detective. I worked for 20 years for a southeastern city in the US, and I was also in the military. I'm sharing my experiences throughout my entire career in policing, a couple in the military, and particularly when I whistleblew 2 different times, especially the last time. I'm sharing those experiences and what I know from speaking to other folks and what I've seen throughout my career in hopes of reforming the police. And I've been focusing in on the individual officer. There was a question last week, or a statement, I should say, on one of those 2 last videos where they said something about the government and we need to change the government, but we need the people to change. They're the ones within the government, if you will. So I'm focusing on the criminal justice arm of government, the law enforcement arm of government, because that's where I've spent at least 20 years working. And so that answered that question about why we need to fix people, quote unquote, and then we'll fix the government. And that's just a small part of that. And then there was another comment. It's frightening to some degree that people with so little integrity are sergeants and higher ups. And I totally agree with that. But is it the agency or the organization creating these people with less integrity? Do they come in with the integrity? Is it developed? My experience says all of the above. I think I talked about scary officers a couple of videos back, and officers know exactly what I'm talking about. You have those individuals that come in. One of them, they'll have all the whistles, the bells and whistles, you know, all the highfalutin gun holsters and ammunition pouches with all the little gadgets and everything, every attachment to their weapon possible. But they're scary, meaning they don't get brave until everybody else gets there. Then you have the other officers that, what did I wrote it down. Cut corners. I talked about that. Cut corners from simply parking your car facing the wrong way all day, every day, and see nothing wrong with that. I talked about working at the academy and being at the range, and there was a sign right in front of where we sat that says, "Do not walk on grass." But then right to the, I want to say to the left of the sign, there's a path in the grass. So, you know, who's walking in that path? Future officers and current officers and veteran officers walking that path in the grass that's next to the sign that says, "Do not walk on the grass." Something as simple as that. I feel like if you can't honor that sign and just take another 6 inches to the left and walk on the path that's created for walking, I think that's an issue. The big talkers, the ones that get around and we're all sitting around and they're talking all this junk, scary officers, my opinion, mind you. Those are scary officers, but then those people go on to become sergeants. And then what are they? Scary sergeants. And the reason why I say scary sergeants, because when it's time to step up, when it's time to take care of your people, when it's time to lead by example, very few will do it. We saw it in Uvalde. Remember that with the school shooting? Seems so long ago. I remember looking at the video and I saw, like I said, the leg holsters, you know, the badges on the waist and all the little gadgets and good stuff, if they used to call it. And nobody stepped up. Well, no, I want to say there was 3 officers that originally ran in there. The man looked to be Hispanic, I'm not sure. Short gentleman, and he was in plain clothes, and he went in with his revolver, but the shrapnel alone from the rifle blast and hitting the cement, I think that's what hit him. But there was at least 100 officers out there, and nobody said, "Okay, let's go. Us 5, let's just go." I think if you ask other officers, can you identify the scary officers in your agency or who you work with? They'll say, yeah. They'll tell you, yeah. But like I said, those same officers become scary sergeants. And that is a problem. That's one problem. Now, is the agency creating it, like I said, with vague policies? There's a saying in my old agency that we used to say, there are practices that are not policy, and there are policies that are not practice. Interesting, right? And so that's how, when I whistle blew and I'm trying to prove retaliation and ostracism, policies in place make that very hard to do that. I couldn't grieve a transfer. So I'm getting transferred 3, 4, 5 times a year. And I'm telling you, look, they're doing this because of my complaint. Well, you can't grieve a transfer. And the reason for your transfer, it says for staffing level, whatever. That's so broad. But you kept me as a detective for 3 years off the street. What was the staffing levels then about? But anyway, just things like that. Is the agency creating that type of officer? Another thing that I thought about is pay. Yes, there are officers that are probably on SNAP. There are officers that probably need some kind of help, and then they have the second jobs. And I've had my second jobs, and they're more lucrative than working my regular job. And I do less work. Who wouldn't want that? But it always in the back of my mind, why should I work a second job? Why can't I just get paid a living wage as an officer where I don't need a second job? Because I feel like second jobs, it allows corruption a way in. Because like I mentioned in the last 2 videos, those sergeants will come at you if they don't want to do their job and open an investigation because you brought a complaint. They'll use that second job against you. And like I advised in the last video, don't get attached to your second jobs because then they can't hold it over your head. But if you're attached and now this second job is helping you or supplementing your bills in the house, are you going to keep quiet because I don't want them messing with my money, hence messing with my livelihood, the lights on in my house for my family? Do you see how that can easily breed corruption? So that's why I said, is it the agency that's creating that officer, that scary officer, that less integral officer? That's something we have to sit down and really evaluate and get a hold of. And if it needs retooling, let's do it. Let's do it. But yeah, I just want to share that little bit with you. Take a look at our online store. The link is in the description. Subscribe, comment. I'll answer any comments that come my way because we're learning from this. We're trying to learn from the feedback. We're trying to learn, especially me. I always want to learn. And so reforming the police doesn't mean abolishing the police. It's making the police better. That arm of government stronger. That arm of government accountability as a foundation. And we see there are plenty of examples where accountability is falling by the wayside to some degree. So I want to fix that. And I'm doing it through this platform. All right? Take a look at our online store. The link is in the description. And always remember, you don't necessarily have to go through a thing to learn from it. Talk to you guys later.